Sleep Hacking with London Real, brought to you by Bulletproof. Learn how to hack your sleep.
You could describe your theory of morphic fields and morphic resonance for those that don't know much about your work.
It's a theory of memory in nature. It says that the so-called laws of nature are more like habits, that each species has a kind of collective memory, a bit like what Jung called the collective unconscious. He was talking about human collective memory. I'm talking about everything. So a giraffe has a collective memory of previous giraffes. Its instincts are a kind of habit of the species. Even crystals have a kind of collective memory. If you make a new chemical that's never existed before and you crystallize it, it takes a long time to make the crystals. Next time you do it anywhere in the world, it forms a bit easier, and the third time a bit easier still. And so that's because a habit builds up. And the theory also says, for which there's experimental evidence, that if you train rats to learn a new trick in London, then rats all over the world will learn it quicker thereafter just because the rats have learned it here. So it's a theory of memory. I think the whole of nature has a kind of memory, compared with the conventional scientific view, which is that nature is governed by eternal laws that were all there at the time of the Big Bang, like a kind of cosmic Napoleonic code. Instead, I think that there's this memory in nature, and the memory works by the process I call morphic resonance, which is a resonance of similar patterns of activity with subsequent similar patterns across space and time.
Wow.
So is this something different from memories being encoded in DNA?
Totally different, yes. I mean, the conventional view is that memories are stored materially. Mm-hmm. There's two ways in which people think that happens. The first is the memories that animals inherit, instincts, are supposed to be stored in the DNA as chemicals. Mm-hmm. And then there's the theory that regular memory, our own regular memories, are stored materially inside our brains as material traces.
Okay.
Now, I think both those theories, although most scientists take them for granted, I think both of them are wrong. I think they're profoundly mistaken. What DNA actually does is codes for proteins. This is what molecular biology has shown us. It doesn't program the entire organism and all its instincts. It just codes for the sequence of amino acids in proteins. It's quite a limited role. And memories, the idea they're stored in the brain, people have tried to find memories in the brain for more than 100 years. They've failed again and again. And that's because I don't think they're there. I don't think they're there any more than when you listen to a radio program. What you're hearing is coming into it by a form of resonance, in this case electromagnetic resonance. It's not being stored in it. And so if I came and looked at your radio and tried to work out what things you'd listened to the previous day, I wouldn't find any traces of what you'd listened to the previous day, because that's not how radio works.
This is similar to Graham Hancock's theory that the brain is a receiver of consciousness as opposed to a generator of consciousness. Is that correct?
Well, I think it's both a generator and a receiver, but I don't think that consciousness and memory is all stored in the brain. I think that our minds extend much further than our brains. That's another part of my theory and my work, the theory of the extended mind.
This week on London Real, we have astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I wake up every morning astonished that an astrophysicist can have 1.7 million Twitter followers. The cosmos is anything where it's a frontier of human knowledge of how the world works. There's so many forces that want to deny a scientific truth just because it conflicts with their ideology. I thought of myself, because I could wrestle, as sort of a defender of geeks. There is no teacher in any time in my life, from kindergarten through 12th grade and beyond, who ever would have said, he'll go far. And the act of finding out is the lesson, not the lesson itself.
On Sunday, London Real presents Neil deGrasse Tyson. cosmos.
I'm happy to report that there's an appetite for the cosmos out there.